So guys, if Pacquiao beats Thurman, will he be regarded as the #1 welterweight in the world? Will he be regarded as the #1? Again, I say the same thing that I said with Keith Thurman. No. By beating Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao will not be regarded as the #1 welterweight in the world. And that's because Keith Thurman is not regarded as the #1 or #2 welterweight in the world right now. So if Pacquiao beats Thurman, it would definitely put him up there, obviously get him up there in the welterweight division. What it would show us is that Pacquiao is still able to compete against at the elite level. Although I do think Thurman's below Spence and Crawford right now. I think what it shows is Pacquiao still got what it takes to compete at the top level. Now, for him to be regarded as #1, again, he'd have to beat either Spence or Crawford to make that claim to being the best welterweight in the world. A lot of people would say, look at what Manny Pacquiao's done in the past. Look at what he's achieved, what he's done at welterweight. He was the lineal champion at welterweight not so long ago. So when you take his past into it, would you regard him as the #1 and a win over Keith Thurman? Would you say he's the #1 welterweight in the world? Listen, Manny Pacquiao's resume is better than any of these guys' resumes, no doubt. But right now, if you're talking about the current climate right now, there's no doubt Crawford and Spence are the standout fighters in the welterweight division. So for anybody to claim to be the best welterweight in the world, you have to go through Spence or Crawford. It's as simple as that. So you can't win against anybody else and claim or have a great resume in the past, because many people in the past thought Pacquiao was the best welterweight in the world. Unfortunately, you know, there's been two young guys that have come up that I've seen as the best fighters in the world today in Spence and Crawford, who are regarded higher than Pacquiao at this point in Pacquiao's career. So Pacquiao's obviously had some loss. Yes, Jeff Horn, he lost against Jeff Horn. Yes, it was a controversial whatever, but again, we saw what Crawford did to Horn. Crawford beat the crap out of Horn, whereas Pacquiao had a points win over him. Although he lost, he should have got the decision. But it was nevertheless, it was nip and tuck, and Horn did well in that fight, whereas Crawford completely outclassed him. So Pacquiao needs to show something against Thurman. If he shows something against Thurman, what that'll show us that he can still compete at this high level, because he is older and we don't know whether his age is catching up with him. Now, he beat Broner, beat Matisse, but those guys are probably C, maybe D level fighters in comparison to what Crawford and Spence. And even Thurman, you would say, is probably A/B right now, because we don't know where Thurman's at. We don't know what Thurman's got left after that long layoff and the injury that he suffered. So if he is able to beat Thurman, what we would see from that, or what we would gain from that, or gauge from that, is that Pacquiao's still an elite level fighter and he's still able to compete at the top level. But then we'll have to go to the elite fighters, and that's Spence and Crawford, and we don't know whether he'll be able to hang in with those guys. Now, we did see a little bit slippage against Broner. However, nevertheless, it was an impressive performance where he outclassed Broner. He won virtually every round. So, you know, you can't really fault that performance. But you'd probably say, if you're picking holes out of that performance, which they're very small holes, but you'd probably say in his heyday, he would have stopped Broner, which he couldn't do. But yeah, my take on it, that if Pacquiao beats Keith Thurman, he's not the #1 welterweight in the world. He has to beat Crawford or Spence in order to make stake to that claim, or make stake to that throne, whether he's the #1 welterweight. He has to beat one of those two. What do you guys think? Do you guys disagree, agree? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.